think I want to start by acknowledging our shared sense of vulnerability from our distance and our size. And of course that's a role for New Zealand to understand that whatever vulnerability we feel as a cork bobbing on the ocean of the global economy, buffeted by its waves, those are so much more intense in the smaller economies that are represented here. And I've had the opportunity to see in different ways how a number of those smaller economies deal with those pressures. Probably more of my own knowledge comes through my knowledge of Samoa, influential in my life, mainly through my wife, whose father came from Samoa many years ago. They're always on the job, as Fiame has been, just coming across the street to Oliver. So we respect the efforts that the governments and the parliaments that you represent have made to deal with what are daunting challenges. And I think we know when we look to those who are much larger than us that they can underestimate the impact of global economic forces. And I think that gives, and New Zealand, because of its particular relationship with the Pacific, means that we have a better understanding, I think, than almost any other country of the challenges that you are grappling with as legislators, as parliamentarians, and as leaders in your economies.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Chair, Ngui Mureki Te Whare Haranata, and warm Pacific greetings to all our colleagues from the Pacific. I'm humbled to take a short call, which I will share with my colleague Jan Logie. Mr. Chair, health is a justice issue. There can be no health without justice, no health without human rights. And I'm not an expert in this issue, but I do have the privilege of seeing the statistics for maternal health and HIV in Melanesia in particular, and they're of deep concern. But there is one country that has not been mentioned, whose statistics are not recorded, but we know is carrying the worst statistics in the entire Pacific region. And I want to break the wall of silence around West Papua. I want to speak about West Papua in this forum as a Pacific nation, as our neighbours, our brothers and sisters, who have no access to health services because they have no access to freedom, and these things cannot be separated. The women, the children, and the men of West Papua suffer from all the diseases you've been discussing, but they also suffer from rape, military-sanctioned violence, torture, and being locked up and being challenged every day for expressing their self-determination and human rights in any form.
We no longer catch the same amount of yellowfin tuna because it's no longer coming here. So somewhere in the ocean near your home, it's disappearing. And I can guarantee you're not getting any richer as a consequence of that. And whatever assistance you feel might be sought or provided by the New Zealand government, irrespective of who's in government, of course we're committed to that. But it's a joint effort. And we personally, in our fishing industry, we are seeing the decline of those migratory species at the moment.